Hi everybody, my name is Ankita Singh, and today I'm going to be presenting the Guantanamo Bay Detentions. The Guantanamo Bay Detention Camp is also known as GITMO or GTMO. It is a United States detention facility located in southeastern Cuba. It first opened after the September 11 attacks that occurred in the United States. The camp was created by former President George W. Bush's administration in 2002. Who are the detainees? Since the facility opened in 2002, 779 individuals have been detained. The detainees are boys and men from Middle Eastern countries such as Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and more. The detention center received members that were suspected of having ties with the terrorist organization Al-Qaeda and also fighters of the Taliban. Currently, 37 individuals remain at the facility. Time in the facility. Detainees suffered different forms of abuse, such as physical, sexual, and mental abuse. They endured different forms of torture, such as sleep deprivation, beatings, and time in solitary confinement. Additionally, they underwent sexual degradation, forced drugging, and religious persecution. Two former detainees discussed the torture they faced in the facilities. The first one is Juma al-Dusri. He claimed he underwent forms of torture by being beaten, tortured with broken glass, getting burned with cigarettes, and more. David Hicks claimed he went through sensory deprivation, having his head slammed into concrete, forced drug injections, and more. Abu Zubaydah was a former detainee who claimed that he was put through different types of torture that are depicted in the image above. He says he went through being chained by his limbs, sprayed with powerful hoses while cold air is being blown at him, and loud music that was being played for hours. The image was drawn by Abu himself, and although he didn't face all tortures at once, he depicted them in the image. Response to Guantanamo Bay. The facility was condemned by human rights organizations for human rights violations. Protesters protested outside of the American Embassy in London with demands for the closure of the facility, although the Bush administration denied all allegations of abuse and torture. Release of detainees. Most detainees were either released or transferred to other facilities in different countries. They were first released in 2004, 200 of them. In 2005, 242 were moved out of the facility, where 173 of them were released and 69 were transferred to other countries. By 2011, 600 detainees had been released. Guantanamo Bay Injustice. The Guantanamo Bay detentions relate to justice because human rights violations occurred against the detainees in the facilities. They underwent various forms of torture, causing some of them to die or commit suicide if they weren't released. Additionally, a lot of the detainees were being held indefinitely without trial. This was a big issue for outsiders because the Bush administration was actively denying these allegations. The Bush administration was in violation of the Geneva Conventions, which are the standards of international law for humanitarian treatment in war. Since such acts are occurring, it goes against all definitions of justice. People are being tortured and held without actual criminal offenses. A lot of the detainees are innocent, and they are not being given fair trials. It begins to set a negative standard for the kind of justice the United States actually stands for.